good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to everyone, and welcome to the Great Exposure Art, Tech, and Policy Days. We're streaming live from San Francisco, California to your homes around the world. Thank you for joining our first ever edition, which in the year 2020 is clearly happening entirely virtual. Today is the start of 4 days full of art, panels, workshops, interactive experiences, talks, and live performances. So make sure to go to our website, getongrid.org/exposure, to register for free. Or if you wish to make a donation, 100% of the proceeds will benefit the local art scene. On our website, you'll discover over 25 events, and by simply signing up on Sket, you can customize your festival experience. I appreciate the opportunity to introduce you to The Grid, the organization behind this festival. We're a San Francisco-based art and technology network spanning from the US to Japan, which now includes not only individuals, but also global art institutions and tech companies. It was founded by a group of like-minded European cultural institutes in the San Francisco Bay Area. All of us are driven by a deep conviction that art and culture are indispensable parts of our shared human experience. Only in art do we recognize ourselves and others. Through art, we can create different realities, possibilities, yes, even utopias that all of us aspire to. And working here in Silicon Valley, the Grid focuses on the intersection of art and tech. We want to bridge those two worlds. And as many of you might be able to attest to firsthand, artists and technologists, they don't always share the same reality or even language or, let's say, same understanding of the world. But we see boundless potential in bringing these two groups together to create and to innovate alongside each other and to redefine what it means to be human in this day and age. We believe that especially now, it's imperative that we do. Yes, one only has to look outside, living in San Francisco, that we're living in very strange times. And we're facing a variety of unprecedented challenges, from climate change to fake news, you name it. What these challenges have in common is technology, as either part of the problem or its solution. But there is really no intention in technology. It's neither good nor bad. It's what we make of it. It's simply a tool created, used, and sometimes abused by humans. But we've learned so far that it's our responsibility to shape technology in a positive way, to shape it for the better, to shape it to be perhaps more inclusive. But getting there will require more than engineers. It will require humanity's biggest resources. And by that, I mean not just money, but minds. And that's exactly why we're here today. Exposure is the Grid's new annual festival format. Very timely. It was born out of the current crisis where we find ourselves exposed to a new virus, a crisis that is exposing our vulnerability of the social fabric and also exposing the systemic inequality, the volatility of the modern market economy. It truly actually exposes a profound societal crisis. And while we find ourselves exposed to this current state of isolation, we need to break down barriers and borders, get together and have a shared collective experience and create new digital tools. While with Exposure, the Grid has mobilized artists, technologists, and policymakers, so a third group from around the world to reimagine what it means to work together towards a common goal, to break out of our silos, our ivory towers, and to overcome deadlock together. Exposure is actually co-curated by a variety of partners and institutions from both the US and Europe. It is, however, primarily designed to showcase the vast creative potential of the San Francisco Bay Area, to showcase the avant-garde of Silicon Valley. We've invited 4 leading art and technology organizations to curate content for this festival. And we've distributed in formats. Gray Area has curated panels, Kodame workshops, 01 interactive experiences, and New Tech live performances. We also have 2 European clusters for art and culture, Unique New York and Unique DC, who've also contributed 2 sessions to this festival. We're very honored to be part of this year's Ars Electronica Festival as the official AI meets music garden, Silicon Valley. And we're now streaming to a truly global audience. So thank you. We're not only curating the opening ceremony of this year's AI Music Festival, but several events dedicated to the topic of AI and the future of creativity. I'd also like to use this opportunity to thank our sponsors who have made this festival a reality. The Grid was founded thanks to a generous grant by Unique Global through a very cool project, the Houses of Culture project. Shortly thereafter, we were supported by our first tech partner, a local hero, a local trailblazer, yes, Salesforce. The STARTS program of the European Commission was also very generous in helping us bring this amazing event together. And with this, I'd like to thank all the partners, all the people, our content partners, our sponsoring partners alike, and an amazing festival team composed by members of Unique Silicon Valley. Thank you for your hard work. All of us have worked relentlessly for several months to make this happen, to pull off, I dare to say, a pretty impressive lineup for this first edition. Exposure features, as I said, over 25 events with over 100 speakers and artists from around the world. And we'll talk about things like AI and the future of art. We'll reimagine tech regulation. We'll investigate the real impact of COVID-19 on the arts, and we'll envision utopias such as a universal basic income for the arts. But most importantly, we're here to create a community. And it's only fitting that this year's festival theme is blurring borders. So we will blur borders between art, tech, and policy, blur the borders between our countries, our communities, our professions, and our belief systems, and just, have a conversation. And we encourage you to join this conversation, either through interactive experiences or by using the Q&A feature in your panel session. We really encourage you to give us feedback. Fill out the survey at the end of the festival. Be critical. Make us aware of blind spots. Encourage us to be better. We even offer a community tool, a sort of community panel that you can volunteer to curate yourself. It's called Notes, Art and Tech Encounters. It was initiated to provide a platform for conversations that we should have. So tell us your ideas, suggest panelists, themes, institutions, artists, anything that you think is relevant in this space. But most importantly, stay in touch. Sign up on our website, getonthegrid.org, and become a member of the Grid. And now, go ahead and expose yourselves to new ideas. And with that, I'd like to welcome my curatorial co-pilot, Vanessa Chang, who will be moderating the opening panel of our first ever edition of the Grid Exposure. Welcome, Vanessa.
Thank you, Clara. It is a pleasure to be here and to be live with you.
Woohoo! We're live.
We made it.
Mom, I'm on TV. Excellent. All right. So I was thinking perhaps we could just start by answering, by you answering a question. So This is the first time that you've curated a festival with, I don't know, 25 partner organizations. Is that correct? 30? I can't even remember. A ridiculous number. So what was the most rewarding part of this?
Well, I'd say there are really two. I divide my rewards into two. So, firstly, it was the opportunity to really shore up my connections and my working relationships with my local community here in the Bay Area. I've worked with everyone in the local organizations to some degree, but we've worked more closely than I have in a long time, and I've gotten to know them and to work with them and to really co-create something that highlights what they do and their contributions not only to the Bay Area and Silicon Valley, but the world at large. So that's been really fantastic. And part two is this larger frame of the grid, and really trying to map its mission of international, transatlantic conversation and collaboration, and really solidifying that through these many conversations that I've had over the last few months, reaching out to people, being in unique Silicon Valley meetings, and that's great. Just the networking, understanding both what we have here, how that connects to the world at large, and working to really affirm those connections. It's been a pleasure.
Excellent. And with that, I think it's time that we kick off this festival. What do you say?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Let's blur borders. Have fun.
You too.
I'll see you on the other side.
See you there. All right. So we are going to open this festival with the panel Blurring Borders Between Art, Technology, and Policy. The worlds of art, technology, and policy are, as Clara said, often understood as distinct enterprises with their own codes, ethics, and practices. Technologies, however, are not simply artifacts, but dynamic systems entwined with culture and politics. While institutional allegiances and disciplinary investments might obscure this entanglement, the stakes are shared and they are high. So today I'm delighted to bring together leaders from the sectors of art, technology, and policy who have worked to cross these disciplinary boundaries. Together we'll discuss what these shared stakes might be, and through their existing work, seek a common language.